that the people have an opportunity to organize. A promise that if enough voices came out and said something and acted on it, that we will start seeing some change. Enough voices that if all of us collectively recognize the injustice and we continue to fight despite the odds, one day we will see that justice come to fruition. And if not us, maybe someone else in another generation would see that justice. So I don't have to tell you all the statistics about Yemen. I don't have to tell you about all of this destruction that happens over and over again. I just want to leave you with one important point. Because I've heard this narrative enough times, whether it's about Palestine, whether it's about Yemen, whether it's the crisis in Sudan, wherever it may be, I've heard this conversation over and over again. Abe, what's the point? Why are we standing in Dearborn? What the heck can we do the war in Yemen in front of the Henry Ford Library? And that's a legitimate question to ask. But I want you to recognize why this is important. You see, advocacy without organization is useless. I'm going to say that one more time. Advocacy without organization is useless. If you don't put in the work to have a concerted, organized effort, if you don't do the work of telling the story of the people of Yemen and uplifting Yemeni people to share those stories, then we will not move the needle as fast as we would like. If we're not doing the work of contacting our federal representation in advocating the U.S. Department of State and our U.S. Senate and our Congress members and the White House to stop involving themselves by selling weapons that literally killed over 100 people last week, who were imprisoned by a regime for no other reason than racism. If you don't uplift those voices and organize the people around that issue, then someone else is going to tell you the story. And they'll tell you things like Yemen is harboring terrorists. They'll tell you things like this is a situation that they set up themselves, that Iran and Saudi Arabia have nothing to do with this crisis. So you got to recognize, if you continue to stay quiet or ask yourself what's the point, someone else is going to make that point for you. And I promise you that point is not going to emphasize the children that die every 10 minutes. That point is not going to emphasize the women that are raped every single day in Yemen. That point is not going to share the story of men getting amputated and burned to death. That is the point of events and organizing like these. So as you leave today, I want you to ask yourself one question. If you revel in the culture that is Yemen, if you enjoy the music and the food and the clothing and the coffee that hails from the land that built the first skyscrapers, do not detach yourself of the political implications that are happening back there. You cannot enjoy the treasures of Yemen without recognizing the turmoil that is happening right now. Engage yourself and learn about the conflict. Because I tell you, I'm not an expert on the Yemeni conflict, and I know not everybody else in this room, or on the street rather, is as well. But do the work of organized advocacy. Learn the issue, teach the issue, and continue to spread awareness. And with that, I'd like to bring up someone who I have always looked up to as a fighter for greater justice, whether it's in Gaza or Detroit, whether it's in Sana'a or Southfield, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am unapologetically standing with all of you. I know you get a lot of politicians coming up here, but I want you to know I'm a real one because I'm Palestinian. So I know what it means when I have my own country where I was born, where I was raised, completely turned their backs on my family in the Middle East. I want you to know that there are people like me now in Congress that stand with you, that are saying enough. We need an embargo. We cannot be selling weapons like this that are killing innocent lives. And the young man really spoke to me. I don't know what his name was, but he was amazing. He said everyone's hands off of Yemen, and I feel that in my heart, like everyone, because so many of the people involved put the people, the children, the people in Yemen last. They put their drive, their hunger, the greed, all of that first before the people of Yemen. And let me tell you, no matter how this is going to end, you know it's going to take generations for us to deal with the trauma, the hurt and the pain that we're leaving the children that are impacted directly from the United States literally standing by and watching this happen with no movement. We have to do what's right. And our country needs to be a lead, and it is our country. So I don't want to say the United States. This is our United States of America, and we are Americans that are saying we don't want our resources, our dollars to be used to kill innocent lives anywhere. But in Yemen especially, while people are turning their back, and it is rooted in the fact that we turn our backs all the time in people of color, those that are poor, those that might not be in place of power. We know that they go in when there's this ultimate benefit, maybe in resources that are in the country or whatever it is. We know. But it's about time, because I know this in my heart. More American people are with us when they say enough in sending resources, our tax dollars, our resources here to going and killing innocent people. And so I just want you to know I'm standing with you strong. I am unapologetic about it. I think people don't even try to change my mind anymore. And so even though I walk in this institution of Congress and they're never ready for me, they weren't ready for me, they're going to be ready for me, because I'm an extension of this movement here. This movement of saying enough is enough and allowing our literally our family, people, our ancestors, all of them, to be able to be hurt in this way. So I just stand with you strongly and thank you so much. Please know this. I know Mayor Abdullah Hammoud is on his way, as well as Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. Miller Bridge is getting done. We care about that too. Hey, Miller Bridge is getting done finally, and so they're over there doing an announcement, but they're on their way. They're going to be here standing in solidarity with all of you today. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I know it's cold, but doing nothing is not an option. And standing here is what we can do to show solidarity in Yemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashida.
That was Ibrahim Ayash and Rashida Tlaib speaking. So.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop the killing, stop the war. Stop the killing, stop the war. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the murder, stop the hate. Stop the murder, stop the hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop the killing, stop the war. Stop the killing, stop the war. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the murder, stop the hate. Stop the murder, stop the hate.
Thank you, Isa. I'd now like to invite up the first Yemeni American ever elected in Dearborn's government, school board member Adil Mu'zib.
Thank you, Representative Ayash. I would like to thank all of the organizers, the student organizers who have, I know it's very spontaneous, and that you came up with this protest, a stand for Yemen, for all of Yemen. And we truly appreciate your leadership. I truly appreciate it. I know that we're here condemning all those who have blood on their hands with Yemenis, all factions, all parties. We're not here to condemn one party or one country. Everybody has their blood on their hands. I know I'm responsible for my words, and I know exactly what they mean. I know some folks would like to politicize this or spin it one way, but we do know Yemenis that we're really tired of outside intervention, and that Yemenis deserve one nation or so many nations or whatever they want, but they deserve dignity, They deserve the option to go to school, to have clean hospitals, to have a nation, to have a state. Unfortunately, Yemenis right now are spread all over the world. And we're here, Yemeni Americans, very proud Yemeni Americans, we truly care for this country. We want this country to revive its history. It has 5,000, 7,000 years of history. Yemen is a nation that is rich with so many resources, with its people as number one resource for Yemen. So I call upon all of you Yemeni Americans to reach out. I'm really glad that we had some legislatures, and we're going to have also Representative Dingle, Representative Talib. We truly appreciate their activism in DC. Those are the folks who are actually going to make a difference with our voices. We want to make sure that we continue this pressure, not only on them, but also their counterparts, their colleagues at the Congress, at also the US government. President Biden promised that he will exert his pressure, his administration pressure, to end this war, and we're waiting for that. We need to continue doing that. The other thing that we can do is definitely the humanitarian crisis. I know so many of you that know people back home, that know so many organizations. I don't know if Ms. Ahmed has spoken about USS. Iman Ahmed has spoken already about United Humanitarian Relief. Also, there are so many different organizations right now. I don't want to just name a few, but there's so many different humanitarian organizations that are delivering aid. So whatever you can donate with. And also, the most important thing as well is to keep Yemen in all of your prayers. I think right now, Yemenis more than ever, it's already coded as the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. We just want to make sure that Yemenis can live by themselves in a dignified manner. I truly appreciate the organizers, and I thank everybody for coming out today in this cold weather. I know my two kids are somewhere here in the crowds, so thank you. Please keep the awareness. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for relief for Yemenis, and inshallah, we hope that 2022 will be the year where Yemenis will sit down at one table and talk to one another without outside intervention and build a brand new Yemen. Thank you.
Free, free Yemen!
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 1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
Hands off Yemen!
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 Free, free Yemen!
Free, free Yemen!
Free, free Yemen!
Free, free Yemen!
Again, the message here today was one simple message that my colleagues have articulated beautifully, and that is hands off Yemen from every direction. Our people are tired, our people are hurt, our people are devastated, and it's time for this war to end. Enough is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Stop the murder, stop the hate!
Stop the murder, stop the hate!
1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
Stop the bloodshed, stop the war!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Stop the murder, stop the hate!
Stop the murder, stop the hate!
I just got a call that Abdullah Hamoud is on his way with Representative Debbie Dingle. We have Iman Ahmed, who's going to representing UHF, who's going to come and speak on behalf of the United Humanitarian Nation, which is a nonprofit organization with a 100% donation policy. She should be here any minute now, but for now, she's here. Iman, are you here? Okay. I'll have Representative Abraham introduce her.
Let's do this. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm so proud of you. I mean, just to be here today on this cold for a cold, frigid, snowy day. It makes me so happy to have you all here, but we need a larger crowd. We need our voices to be heard much louder. We need the support. We need you to let your colleagues know, your friends, your family. I have a few words. Despite being cold, we all find comfort and protection, knowing that we all have warm homes and shelters to go to at night. Let's think about many of our brothers and sisters in Yemen who live in areas without access to electricity or fuel, who live in shacks and tents, who don't know where their next meal will come from, who do not have fuel or blankets to keep them warm at night. I was in Yemen doing humanitarian work with the United Humanitarian Foundation, or short UHF Relief, past summer, and I personally saw firsthand the destruction of Yemen and the catastrophe that these innocent families are going through. When you go home today, I want you to go online and Google a few things tonight. I want you to Google the world's worst humanitarian crisis. And can you guess what will come up? World's largest humanitarian crisis. Can you guess what will come up? So what I want you to know, and the questions we should ask, is why isn't Yemen getting the proper coverage and media that these innocent families and children deserve? Why aren't we on CNN, BBC? I want to thank WhatsApp Network. They're always representing and showcasing what's happening across the world. So thank you, WhatsApp Network. But we need more. We need more media coverage. We need to showcase what's happening in the world's largest and world's worst humanitarian crisis. So what I want to know is, are you going to continue to be involved? Are you going to continue to be active and speak up? This is not a temporary thing. We shouldn't wait until an airstrike kills hundreds of people to do something. We need to continue to tell the world, hold people accountable on what's happening in Yemen. Let me ask you all something. Is it a coincidence that the U.S. is funding a genocide in Palestine by giving billions of dollars to Israel? At the same time, is it a coincidence that the U.S. is funding a hidden genocide in Yemen by giving billions of dollars to Saudi Arabia? Just something to think about. Let's not forget and pray for our brothers and sisters in Palestine as we continue to talk about the crisis in Yemen. Let's stay focused and work together and continue to raise awareness by sharing, like I said, sharing with your neighbors, colleagues, co-workers, and friends while holding our elected officials, senators, and representatives who we elect accountable to speak up. This is our job. So to everyone here, please do not underestimate the power of words, posts, prayers, and du'as. Pray with me. Oh Allah, help and protect the people of Yemen. Help ease their pain and suffering, and help those who are in need, wherever they may be. Ameen. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
UHF, look them up, donate $1, $2, anything and everyone can help. What do we want? Justice? When do we want it now? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop the killing, stop the war. Stop the killing, stop the war. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the murder, stop the hate. Stop the murder, stop the hate. Free, free Yemen. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop the killing, stop the war. Stop the killing, stop the war. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the murder, stop the hate. Stop the murder, stop the hate. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Louder! What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! Stop the killing, stop the war! Stop the killing, stop the war! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Stop the murder, stop the hate! Stop the murder, stop the hate! 1, 2, 3! killing, stop the war.
Stop the killing, stop the war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Stop the killing, stop the war.
Stop the killing, stop the war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
Guys, I know it's cold, but wallahi it matters. Wallah, it matters. They matter. Our people in Yemen are getting killed, malnourished. They're starving. I know we're cold. Move in place, but I promise you it matters. Every single one of you here today matters. Every message, every cry, every plead, wallahi it matters. Please continue. I know it's cold. Just hold on a little bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Stop the killing, stop the war.
Stop the killing, stop the war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
Stop the murder, stop the hate.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
All right, everybody give a round of applause for my brother Isa. This guy gave a khutbah earlier in the day, and now he's losing his voice, demanding justice. Now, before we talk about justice, we got to understand what the injustice is. So, by a show of hands, and I want you to be completely honest with me, who here really understands what transpired in Yemen over the last 2 weeks? I hope to see hands not go up so I can share the story. So I say this simply so folks can understand why this matters in this moment. The second point is you got 2 members of Congress that'll be here. So I want every single Yemeni in the crowd right now to think of what you want to tell your member of Congress as it pertains to U.S. foreign policy in the next 10, 15 minutes. We're all Yemeni today. And the reason why that matters is because I'm going to bring Rashida and Debbie up here, and I want them to hear directly from the voices of those that are impacted. I want you to share what your family stories are. Share the struggles of the punitive immigration system here in the United States. Share the story of what happens all across Yemen that you hear, but maybe they don't. Because it's not often you'll get 2 members of Congress that'll stand in the cold with you to talk about these issues. So what happened in Yemen over the last 2 weeks? Someone said no internet, okay. So let's take a step back about how we got there. An airstrike was sent over to the UAE that murdered several Pakistani and Indian immigrants, likely being paid wages that were inhumane. So in response, the Houthis took responsibility for that particular strike. In response, there was a dramatic escalation by the Saudi-led coalition, which led to the murder of over 100 people in Yemen. That is true. Weapons that were sold by the United States were sent to an airstrike, and 2 places were targeted. 2 places were targeted. A prison. I want you to share your story. I want you to share your story. I do. Come on up. Come on up here. Come on up here. I know. So I want Abdullah and Debbie and Rashida to hear the pain of the people here today. She's angry, and I want her to share her story so you guys know what the impact of the war is.
I don't mind, and excuse me for my English. I'm new in this country, it's 5 years only. My name is Sina Ali Qayed. Ahmed Qaid, sorry, I forgot my father's name. I was suffering in Yemen because of the communists. So I flew from the South Yemen, which I'm against, to the bloody UAE. I worked there for 32 years. I saved a lot of money. I built my house in Yemen. And what's happening now in my retirement age? I'm 65 years old. Instead of going home and relax in my retired age, I am here in USA. USA, they bombing us. USA, the one who supports Saudi Arabia, they bomb my house. They bomb all the school. They destroyed Yemen. They destroyed all the Yemenis. But let me say one thing. The Yemenis people, our men in Yemen, they are really real men. Not Saudi Arabia, not Emirates, not bloody Biden, the liars who I voted for him, who said that he's going to stop supporting bloody Saudi Arabia. That is me. I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my country. And I'm here in USA. Yes, there is a freedom. But what they're doing, they're taking from you the taxes and they're bombing me. When I says me, means Yemen, means Sana'a. I am from Eb. I am from Ba'dan. I am from Aden. I am from Hudaida. I am from Taz. Yes, it is me. I am Yemen. Thank you very much.
Okay, Qaid. No, please stay, please stay.
نفديك يا يمن بالروح بالدم نفديك يا يمن بالروح بالدم نفديك يا يمن. 1 minute. صنعاء قبلتنا والحديدة حبيبتنا وعدن دلوعتنا وتعز نهضتنا. أما مأرب ماذا قلت؟ لا. مأرب حصانتنا. انتبهوا لهذا.
All right, give her a round of applause, everybody. Think about what she just said. She was proud of living in Yemen. People tend to think that Yemen is a country that everybody wants to run away from. She wanted to stay, but her schools in her neighborhood and her home were destroyed by taxpayer, by bombs sold by the United States to Saudi Arabia. A deal that was cut by people whose salaries we pay with our taxpayer dollars. This is the story that I want all of you today to hear and to recognize. And I know Rashida and Debbie, you can take this message back to Biden. We turned out in numbers during a pandemic to ensure that Michigan flipped back for Joe Biden so that we can get rid of the man who instated the Muslim ban. But that is not enough. So closing out the story, United States sold bombs, destroyed a prison in Saada that held prisoners that were likely Ethiopian. Over nearly 100 were murdered. And then subsequently another bomb was dropped on the eastern part of Yemen that killed children playing soccer. These are bombs that the United States of America sold to this regime that then is fighting for this idea of protecting Yemen. So I want to give Debbie an opportunity to speak and address the crowd of people that are in deep pain right now. And then we're going to pass it to Abdullah, and then I want people to hear the story. I want them to hear the story of so many of you in this audience, just like our Hajjah who said her story and why it's so important. So Debbie, please come on up.
So I want to say to you, it is not okay. Rashida and I together have been fighting this war and trying to fight for the United States to understand that the Yemenis need help. And Abe, I got one problem, wherever you went. Where'd Abe? I don't think of Yemen as a country people run away from. I think of it as a country that people here are proud to come from. Their families are there. It's an important part of the Mideast, and don't ever say people want to run away from a country that is their home. I don't know, because I don't know where I get, but I'll tell you something. I am not afraid to speak up to the Saudi Arabians. And I have told the Saudi Arabians that they should not. Oh!
She accepts campaign contributions from them.
Hold on. Just a second.
You know what? Fact! Fact! I'm going to give you fact. I have stood up to the Saudis. I have told them what they are doing is wrong. I have met with the Saudi Arabian ambassador, and I am fighting the Saudi Arabians in Yemen every goddamn day because it's wrong, and I fight for the people of Yemen. I want to say something to you. 400,000 children, 400,000 children are dying for hunger in Yemen every day. And I worry about those children.
I just want, listen, please. I know, listen, I just want you to know. I want you to know, I know it's hard. I was you, Wahiyat Allah. I was you marching. I'm on the inside, I see it. I know it's hard to see it because I see what she does. I know you don't believe me. I don't stand with anybody. I am not afraid to tell you who's a sellout. But I am telling you, when I felt completely alone, when it came to issues around pushing back against the wars, against really, I believe, racialized wars. They come after our countries where our family is from. We're so proud. I watch her fight. Now, I know. One of the things that I want you to know, please, when I see people, whatever they're doing, it matters what they do behind closed doors, and I see it. He knows. We all have seen it. They will say things differently in closed doors. Debbie actually says more in closed doors. And now, listen, I just want you to know, like, I've seen her shed tears. From the families, no, I have seen it, but I'm not here to defend, I'm here to focus on Yemen. I'm here to talk about and I want, yes.
Let me say this. I have the mic as a Yemeni American right now. So when we organized this event, we didn't set up a debate. If you want to advocate for the U.S. involvement in the military-industrial complex, you can go ahead and do that. And I will stand with you. Let me speak. I will stand with you. But you got to understand something. I said from the onset, today is a day for Yemeni Americans to be able to address our elected officials, speak out on this conflict. I am not here to debate who takes contributions from who. I'm not here to debate whether or not the United States is complicit in violence around the world, because we know that to be fact. What I want to happen today, and I can speak for every Yemeni American standing in this crowd right now, we want to ensure that our elected representation hear from Yemeni Americans about the conflict and the massacre that is happening in Yemen. So I want to give the floor to our federal delegation once again to tell us how they are standing with Yemen, and then I want them to hear from Yemeni Americans in particular about this crisis. But before that, I want to hand the mic to Mayor Abdullah Hammoud.
Assalamu alaikum. You know, I have been at countless of protests for Yemen with my Yemeni sisters and brothers. Because regardless of where you come from today, we're all Yemeni. And the reality is that the humanitarian crisis is just that. It's a crisis for all of humankind, not just for Yemen. And so we use our collective voices to shed light on the atrocities that are happening. And it's on us to hold our elected officials accountable. And it's on us to come together and educate, because educating what is happening in Yemen is first and most importantly, the biggest step that we can take in hopefully advocating for that change. And I know at times it seems as though change is not happening quick enough, and the reality is it is not. But we can't become desensitized. We have to keep up. The protests are great, but the question I have is, what do you do when you walk away from this protest? How do you contact your legislator? How do you contact your congressperson? Are you writing emails? Are you making calls? Are you reaching out? That's what we have to do collectively. And so I'm thankful for you having me here today, and I'm here to listen and here to do whatever I can to use the platform that you've all provided me, and hopefully advocating for that change. Wassalamu alaikum.
Louder, please. Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! Free, free Yemen! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! Stop the bloodshed! Stop the war! Stop the bloodshed! Stop the war! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Stop the killing! Stop the hate! Stop the killing! Stop the hate! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! Stop the murder! Stop the war! Stop the murder! Stop the war! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Stop the bloodshed! Stop the hate! Stop the bloodshed! Stop the hate! Again, we had one message today and one message only. We want all hands off Yemen. What do we want? Off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Louder. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Hands off Yemen. Thank you.
As again, thank I really, from the bottom of my heart, as a Yemeni American, as a son of immigrants, I really do thank every single one of you guys for showing up today. Mayor Hamoud, the elected representatives, thank you. And I know we've been here for a while, but again, today, we are all Yemeni. And Ibrahim, a state representative, he said something very powerful. We enjoy the delicacies, we enjoy the food, we enjoy the coffee, we enjoy Qahwa House, Abe here, we enjoy these things, right? But when you go there and you sip on those delicacies and you eat the food, just remember where it comes from. Remember where it comes from. And I know it's getting cold. Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to welcome our state senator Santana, Sylvia Santana. She represents parts of Dearborn and Detroit to say a few words. Thank you for coming as well.
I'm here to listen, but you know, I've been to a lot of these protests, and the war must stop. The war must stop. Too many children and families are being disenfranchised over in Yemen, and I'm here to support each and every one of you, your families, and I'm here as your elected official to listen, to be a voice for you, not only in the state legislature, but also to make sure that our national partners hear what's going on, that they understand that war is not the solution. Peace and love is the solution. Make sure that people have a quality of life, that families are not disenfranchised by war. You know, we're sitting here having a protest on Yemen, and right as we're having this conversation, in Russia, right now, they're at the border of Ukraine. More war. When does the war stop? When do we start making sure that we are protecting humanity? When do we start making sure that people have quality and dignity of life? I'm here to support you as your state senator, and I've always been here to support you. It is not the first time, and it won't be the last. I love you, God bless you, and let's have peace and not war.
I know it's getting cold, and we all want to leave. So I just ask for one more thing from you. I ask that we all put our hands up. Everybody hands up. And let us make dua. Let us make a prayer for the people of Yemen. Allahumma rahmaka bi ahl al-Yemen. Oh Allah, we ask for your mercy for the people of Yemen. We ask you to nourish the malnourished in Yemen. We ask you to feed the people of Yemen. We ask you to provide for the people of Yemen. We ask for you to be with the people of Yemen and not against them. We ask for you to be with people of Yemen and not against them. Brothers and sisters, please, please pray for the people of Yemen. Every day there's injustice worldwide. But every day, Ya Allah, we ask you for your mercy upon the people of Yemen. We ask you to feed the people of Yemen. We ask you to restore Yemen to better than what it once was. We ask you to restore the peace and the harmony. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Ya Allah. Thank you every single one of you guys for coming out. Thank you. I truly, truly mean it. Barakallahu feekum. And remember, the next time you guys enjoy Yemeni delicacies, remember where it comes from. Again, the message here today was peace. That's it. There are many parties involved, and whatever the case may be, honestly, I'm sick of it. We're sick of it. We want peace. Hands off of Yemen. One last time, what do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amir Zahir. I'm so happy to see everyone out here today. You know, we have been marching this whole year, for a year now, for justice in our Arab homelands. The attacks on Yemen and the atrocities that are happening in Yemen are not just against the Yemeni people, they are against all Arab people. Because we are all one people, and we all originally come from this beautiful place called Yemen. People don't understand sometimes that we Arabs, we don't think in terms of 10 years or 5 years. We know where we come from. We know that we come from the most beautiful civilization on planet Earth, and we're not ashamed to talk about it. And they are out there destroying our civilizations. They've been doing it now for 100 years. Whether it's in Palestine or Iraq or Yemen, all this country wants to do is to tell us that we don't belong in this world. But we are here to tell them that yes, we do. And that we are going to stand up for our culture and our history. These bombs that are dropping, sometimes people say, why are Arab Americans so concerned with foreign policy all the time? It's not foreign policy. Those bombs that are dropping are American bombs. Those bombs that are dropping are made in this country, paid for by us. They are making decisions to bomb and massacre our Arab people instead of fixing the water in Flint. This is not a foreign policy issue. They kill us with our money. They came into our communities. I said this about Palestine last May. They came into our communities and they begged us to save America from Donald Trump, and now we have to tell them to save Yemen from Joe Biden. We've had enough of this. You can't just walk into our communities anymore, say salamu alaikum, eat a little bit of hummus, and think we're gonna vote for you. It's not gonna work like that anymore. All right, we are out here in the streets because we see these politicians, we see what they do, we see how they stand up. Biden said, we've said it a million times, Biden said that he was going to stop the war on Yemen, and he's out there making hundreds of millions of dollars of sales to the exact armies that are dropping bombs on the defenseless people of Yemen. We still don't have health care in this country. We still don't have clean water in this country. We have homeless people all over this country, and they are more concerned with starting wars against Arabs for the last 100 years. We've had enough. We've had enough. And so those of us here today, we have to keep, Abdullah said it the best, is that you are all here today, and it's very important that you are all here today because you are leaders. You are leaders. You all have 50 or 100 people in your lives that care what you do much more than they care what Rashida does or what Abdullah does or what Abraham does or what anybody does. So you need to go back and be a leader in your community, in your little circle of people in your life, to let them know that this has to stop. That's enough of this, man. Too much that they have been telling us that our lives are not worth anything. Yes, you see me on the streets, maybe you see me telling jokes, or you see me on the streets talking about Palestine, but this is what I know about Palestine and Yemen. I know that I have never met any Yemeni in my life who did not grow up saying free, free Palestine. And so I know as a Palestinian, I have to tell all my people that we have to always say free, free Yemen, no matter what. I have never met in my life a Yemeni brother or sister that was not proud of the thousands of years of history that we come from. And so we have to make sure that we protect that all the time. I know my history. I know that when Palestinians were kicked out of many countries, it was Yemenis who opened up their arms and said, come live with us. And so we know that we all have to stand together no matter what the price. Listen, man, it's not easy to stand up in this country to tell the American government that we've had enough of you, that we've had enough of our money going to kill our people. They ask us if we love this country. We love this country, but it's hard sometimes, man. It is hard to watch our money kill our people. And they demand us, they say, tell us that you love this country. You tell us that you love us. We love America, but she's got to love us back a little bit. And that is what we are here to say today. So don't stop when you leave here today. Don't stop. Go back, do whatever you do. Make sure you're live streaming this. Make sure you get on social media. There are people who care about what you do in your life more than they care about what I do or what other maybe high profile people do. So before you leave here today, look at the person next to you. I don't care whether you know them or don't know them, and tell them thank you for coming today. Look at them and tell them, I'm proud of you. Tell them I love you. Because we have to do this all with love and support for each other. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I know everybody, I'm keeping everybody late now, but nobody's Arabic, so I just want to say real quick a few words in Arabic. Previous speakers spoke it pretty well. So هي المسألة صارت مسألة إنسانية أكثر من أي شيء. يعني زي ما حكى عامر، احنا الفلسطينيين بحياتنا ما شفنا اخ او اخت يمنيه، بس يعرفوا الفلسطينيين بدهم يحضنوك من انفعالهم مع القضيه. فالقضيه اليمنيه قضيه انسانيه عربيه، يعني بعيدا عن السياسه، بعيدا عن الاحزاب، هي قضيه انسانيه بالطراز الاول. So basically I'm just trying to say that it's a humanitarian issue, nothing else. يعني ما بعرف، بس حبيت احكي يعني كعرب احنا مش كيمنيين، لانه زي ما حكى عامر اصلنا كنا من اليمن، وغير انه كنا بنعرف اليمن اصل العرب هي حضن العرب كمان. زي ما حكى عامر، احنا لما طلعنا من فلسطين يعني جدودنا كلمونا بالقصص، اليمن اكبر حضن للفلسطينيين. فرجع فهي يمكن شيء بسيط من رد الجمالي، انه احنا كعرب كنا يمنيين اليوم زي ما حكوا بالانجليزي، وإن شاء الله تكون القضية قضية إنسانية عشان تنحل بأسرع وقت. جزاكم الله خير.
We have Shadi.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Shadi Mawri, the president of the Yemeni Student Association at Wayne State University. First and foremost, very thankful for you guys for coming out in this cold weather. It takes dedication and effort. No one wants to come out on the cold on a Friday, but jazakumullah khair, everyone. Especially the younger generation. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. It takes us. We're the ones that put these politicians in power. We're the ones, we're the future. So especially us, the younger generations, we need to take the steps, the effort. It's up to us. So I just wanted everyone listening, all the younger generations, to get more politically involved, inshallah. Shukran everyone, jazakumullah khair.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Everyone drives, it was cold, but I want to give a special shout out.
this young gentleman right here who took the initiative of this protest. His name was Mu'ad. So give it a round of applause for Mu'ad. 17 years old. 17 years old. So look, the brothers, for all the young folks, you matter. You make a difference. Age is just enough. You matter. Mu'ad, good job. You help. Round of applause. Guys, everyone, please stay warm. Drive safe. Thank you for coming. And there's one more.
So Jenna is a Palestinian American.
I stand here as a young Palestinian American. I'm sorry, I'm taking public speech right now, but this matters. A protest matters. And I know it feels like it doesn't matter, but I promise you, it matters. When you stand up here in the freezing cold, it matters. I promise you, it matters. It matters when you stand here. It matters when you post. It matters when you literally send a text to somebody about Yemen, Palestine, Iraq. It matters. It matters. It always matters. So thank you for coming here. And thank you again for holding up your flags, always. Thank you.
Let's wave those flags one more time. Let's wave one more time. Thank you for coming. Please keep Yemen in your dua. UHF, a great trusted foundation to donate to. Everyone, thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Tap it out. Tap it out.